Previously on Legend of the Flaming Heteros.
Betwixt and beneath all worlds lies true limbo.
I'm Dagmar, and on this campaign I will be playing Lavinia Sharov.
Chaotic halfling bard of Reggie Narwhal.
Dream in the sandstorm oasis, but dream for short.
Boomslang, a Yuan-Ti yellow golden cobra guy.
And the challenge I set to attain the unattainable? Why, it is simple. The winner will be simply whoever can kill me, of course.
You're not grabbing goldenrod. Someone goldenrod.
I'm gonna try to inscribe on the side ACAB, like all capybaras are bastards.
We're fumigating for sewer clowns here. You can't be here.
Oh no!
I've been called worse, but you better shut your mouth. And he starts kind of feeding coins one by one into this bird, and then he starts doing it really quickly because
you can't cancel me.
So if you do book tour.
I look forward to us getting sued into oblivion before our second session.
And so, with this last impediment to getting back inside and well out of trouble with the capybarbarians, you head through the door and into your home in the left wing of the collectorium.
As he lands, Boomslang says, "I stab you to the left, I stab you to the right, I stab you then I hit you with a level 4 smite."
Good evening, and welcome back to Science and Sorcery's campaign, The Legend of the Flaming Heteros. We are the people you just saw in this video, so we will not introduce ourselves again, because you should know who we are. If not, good luck. You'll figure it out at some point. Before we get into the story tonight and pick up where we left off entering the collectorium, a couple of quick announcements. First off, if you're within a 66-mile radius of Glasgow next week, Tuesday, Science and Sorcery is doing their first ever live show at Dram. You can find details of this on our Twitter page. We're raising money for Refuigi. I will be DMing an adventure that has yet to be written, but will be written by that time. Sam will be playing. We'll have Jolanta Benorovich, who you will have seen on the previous show. Elizabeth Mills. I always want to call her Elizabeth Holmes. That is a different person. Who was also in a previous show. And a local comedian, Eddie, whose name I keep forgetting. Sam, jump
Eddie
in
McKenzie.
here.
He's very valued,
Eddie
and we
McKenzie.
remember his name.
We do. I've just recovered from COVID, sort of, and my brain is not fully back yet. But please come join us, come buy a ticket. 66-mile radius is because that's the distance I'm driving to get there. So you can also make it. Secondly, a big shout out to our Patreon supporters. That is our very own Sam Langford, Vikram Baliga, Charles Alkai, and Chris Hogan. Thanks to them, we were able to purchase a new microphone for Jazz for tonight. And you're also enabling us to get cool flyers and things made. So thank you very much. We love and appreciate you. And to support us on Patreon, go to patreon.com/scienceandsorcery. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Alex, and we're going to see exactly what is going to happen tonight. Alex.
Okay, so welcome back. Having defeated the turf monster, the flaming heteros step through the door and into their apartment nestled in the left wing of the collectorium of Sigrid van Wunderbar. In more common circles, some aesthetics are described as an assault upon the senses. Nothing so staid in the collectorium. And the leopard print abomination that welcomes you home is technically considered a war crime against fashion under the Milan style conventions. And rumours persist that Siegfried moved to Melded because it is literally impossible to extradite him to stand trial. But presumably, preternaturally hideous as it may be, it's also free luxury living thanks to some inspired persuasion from Dream and their retinue that would be the perfect move for this vision. So for the mere cost of a bi-weekly visit to Wilbert the Mind Flayer for a refreshing memory cleanse of all leopard print-based memories, you get luxury rooms with en-suites, communal living area, a small gym, and the services of a chef construct that Siegfried has named Golem Ramsay. You've had time to rest and heal up your injuries by the time Siegfried drops by. whatever he might have been originally, your host has long since had his mind transferred into an immortal porcelain body, hand-painted in leopard print, of course, and very unsettling even without that. Ach, mine guests have returned. I, Siegfried, have taken the liberty of having Ramsay here prepare transportation to your other errands for the day. Not to worry at all, he is very good at his job, if always very angry, yeah. I don't actually care what you're doing, but none shall say Siegfried van Wunderbar is not the most considerate of hosts. Or at least employs the best to do that for him. And then he sort of flourishes out of the room and leaves you in the care of Golem Ramsay. The golem looks like it's about to explode with rage, but in fairness, it always kind of looks like that as it escorts you out to the carriages outside, where you are entered into a carriage, so pulled by two giant red-eyed tree frogs, which set you off to your tasks that you have previously let me know for the day. So, there are two sort of broad sets of things we're going to go for here. And first, on your journey, is you're heading to the Mall of the Multiverse. So, as you approach it, you see that the Mall of the Multiverse is indeed a giant hammer, the size of a skyscraper. It was once used on an attack on Melded by this strange being called Thrick-Tack-Orlock. And then it was defeated by some figure that no one can quite remember. And basically, it's a giant cosmic space hammer that they decided to build a shopping centre inside of, because what else are you going to do with a giant space hammer? And so, you each have several requests that you've given me beforehand, but is there anything else you would like to peruse while you're entering the Mall of the Multiverse?
I wouldn't mind checking out any music shops that are kicking around. Instruments, music, a snazzy hat, anything like that.
So,
I have a question, more something to keep in mind. What time of day is it?
So I'll say this is the next day at this point. So you are
Okay, cool.
fully rested.
Gotcha.
And it's probably. I don't get the feeling you guys are like early risers.
No.
You don't give me that energy, but I might be wrong.
I think Boomslang probably stayed up quite late the previous night, kind of. He probably actually had a bit of a hit on that cursed vape from the previous day.
Oh no.
Which one did Boomslang have
Oh,
again?
which one?
Boomslang got the Tears of King Solomon.
Okay. So for that question, what? So your rooms are all in a line, roughly, in your little apartment. Could you give me like what the order you think the rooms are in?
Lavinia would be as far away from as most people as possible, so she'll be on the end furthest away from the common areas.
Okay, so
Just because of the sharks.
I would say, yeah. Well, they all sort of come off the common area on one side.
Right.
So I would say you'd be the furthest from the door, probably in that case.
Yeah. Just furthest away from wherever the most people might congregate.
Okay.
Boomslangs would probably be closest to the fridge, if there's a kitchen, if there's an interdimensional fridge.
Okay.
Closest to the larder, closest to any kind of thing you can snack on.
I think it's got like a little kitchenette in the middle of the living area. So let's say he's second.
Like if we have a booze cabinet, he's probably closest to that.
I mean, I assume you probably all have your own supply in your room.
Mini fridge.
Yeah.
And let's say I will be. So would that would make you second along, Khalil? Is that right, or would it be first along?
So, going from left to right, it's currently Lavinia empty, Boomslang empty.
Okay, I'll be in between. In between those two, I feel like Dream's a bit more flighty, so it should be closer to the door to leave.
What do you mean, more flighty?
I mean, they've got a lot of.
You've got all your cult meetings.
You got a lot on your mind, like. Yeah.
Literally, we were all stuck in a brawl, and you were like, "I'm gonna go to the top of the roof and just hang out there."
Wow, you guys know me so well already.
I reckon Dream probably comes and goes the most out of all of us.
That feels, yeah. Okay, so in which case, my follow-up question is, Boomslang, which way were you facing when you tried this vape?
No.
Upwards. I would have been. Boomslang would have been lying on his back in his bed, and then like kind of his mind wanders, and he thinks, oh, I got that vape, didn't I? Well, seems silly not to. And just kind of lie on his back, and is gonna hit the cursed vape of King Solomon's tears.
Okay, so thankfully there's no one who lives above you. It's mostly just. So I mean, basically, you just hear the sound of. So what it basically does is it projects a 30-foot cone of regret. So there's just some like rats in between the floors, just having like deep thoughts. It's just like, man, like I really wish I hadn't chewed those wires. Like I had a really bad stomach.
Does Boomslang experience any of that?
No, he just.
What does Boomslang feel from this? Nothing.
I don't think he even noticed it. It just tastes kind of. It's just like a slightly weird smelling vape. You're probably a bit disappointed without the context of what it's doing to the things you're in front of it.
Yeah, he probably like hits it a few more times to see if that'll do anything, and if it doesn't do anything, he'll just probably chuck it.
If he's kind of wafts it back in his face, he might get a bit of a waft.
Yeah, let's say one of the drags he kind of exhales a little bit and then kind of chases it and inhales it again. Okay, so he gets kind of a little dose of regret. He goes,
make a wisdom saving throw.
"Oh, I shouldn't have done that."
He has regret for trying this vape. Clearly,
it's going to be a 13.
Okay, yeah, that's a failure. So yes, you do. Tell me about Boomslang's regrets that you would be overcome with for a few seconds.
I mean, first of all, he regrets chasing that bit of smoke and messing around with a vape that he was explicitly told was cursed. And second of all, he regrets not fighting harder and not almost kind of. It would have been almost a sort of kind of suicidal attempt, but like he regrets not fighting harder when he was separated from someone that he really cares about.
Maybe we should find out more about that later tonight. Who knows?
Foreshadowing. You see that?
Flashback to the present after Boomslang having a flashback to his regret.
He pops it in his pocket and is like, well, it does something. Maybe I need to just mix it with something. That'd be fun.
No. Who has the rest of the vapes? I know a Dream had one. Did Dream just take all of them?
I can't remember.
I don't think we divided them out. I don't have any.
I don't think we did.
Wait, did we?
No, we had one each. We got one each.
I mean,
No, but then we took all of them because the guy left.
Oh, yeah.
And now we own the shop, but it's empty.
It was such a blur, but did we try and make a Molotov cocktail out of one?
No!
Did we not?
No, we have not done that yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yet being the operative word.
No, that's just the pyromaniac in me.
Maybe you thought about it when we fought Joker Rollins.
Yeah.
Yes. Entirely original creation that's not inspired by anyone real at all.
We didn't get sued into oblivion yet.
I know, so
Yes.
Yeah.
She's too busy.
Why would we?
Like on other things.
entirely
Ignoring Roe versus Wade, yeah.
Anyway, so
You mean magical Roe versus magical Wade?
Yes, that one. It's just Fish Roe versus some waiters.
roe deer versus Reggie Narwhal finds a music shop indeed, and it is named in sort of like gold, like fancy lettering, instrumental in your success.
Oh, classy. I like it. Right, well, I'd like to head in and let's see what wares they might have.
Okay, so you sort of head in, and it's sort of one of these sort of very like these kind of stores that you get the impression has been there and they haven't changed anything in a couple of 100 years. Like, just there is kind of a bit of a veneer of dust on everything, but it looks very beautiful, just very dusty. And behind the counter is what is essentially a Muppet. Just an old man Muppet with big bushy eyebrows. Welcome to Instrumental in Your Success. How can I help you today?
Hi. First of all, what's your name? Good
My
sir.
name's Crotchet.
Crotchet. Okay, that's memorable. I'm gonna definitely remember that. Crotchet. Crotchet. Tell you the truth, I'm getting ready for Battle of the Bands, which is tomorrow, and I am very much in need of a new instrument to be part of that. I've heard of this thing called the Lyre.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something you've heard of before.
Yes. I believe that someone tweeted that earlier, and I saw that.
So as a reminder, just because there's lots of instruments out there, but this one's very specific, is that grants the player +2 to deception checks, and additionally you can catch one pair of pants on fire per long rest. So yeah, I would really like to have a look to see if you've got one in stock.
I think there is one around somewhere. I think this one works very slightly differently to that one, in that anytime you play it, a pair of pants will catch on fire. Like,
Anytime you play it. And
within a mile of where you are, it could be literally anyone, and they'll have no idea what's going on.
And do I get to choose? Or...
No, it just happens randomly.
And would it ever be me?
Statistically unlikely unless you're like on your own.
Okay, no playing it in my room at night. Although I am very close to Lavinia and
Well, I mean, the radius is like a mile. So
oh god, if boom slang is having a hit in that vape, and that could be awful. How much is it?
So that voice is good. I've got loads of voices today that are all going to separately wreck me, and I didn't think that.
Sponsored by Vocal Zone.
Do that for 250 gold.
250 gold. Can I give it a whirl before I decide what I want to do? I know that sounds risky, but
sure thing. And he just goes over and gets a little mini fire extinguisher before.
So I just take the lyre and I strum on it ever so slightly just to listen to the notes come through. Does anything happen?
Just look real quick. So, like, as you play, you sort of you make a perception check for me.
13.
Okay, so you feel like you distantly hear a scream, but that's not necessarily unusual for melded, so it might be unrelated.
Yeah, I don't think that's connected, is it? Crotchet, I'm gonna just put cards on the table. Is that I don't think this thing works. Like, no pants are on fire, and I don't think it's worth 250 gold.
Make a deception check with advantage.
19.
Maybe you're right. I mean, I could knock it down to 150, I guess. It's been here for a while.
I'm gonna have to think about it. You hold on to that for now. I might come back, and then I want to point to some music that I can see on the wall behind you to say, like, could you tell me a little bit more about that? And as you turn, I want to make a sleight of hand check.
Okay.
Right at the start of the shopping trip.
So
The rest of the episode will be us prison breaking Reginald.
the rest of the series, just like every session, different prison.
Every time a different one of us gets arrested.
Yeah. So he goes off on a monologue about how like Mecha Mozart is the greatest composer of all time. And make a sleight of hand check, I guess.
So my sleight of hand is really good, so I got 24.
Okay, so I mean, you get it certainly, but just are you like just running away with it, or are you trying to like just vanish it about your person somewhere?
So I would just like to keep talking to him about Mecha Mozart and just to like slip it behind my back and like ask him to name me his favorite piece.
Mecha Mozart's 1 billionth symphony. That was pretty good. He'd lived a very long time.
I might have to take that for inspiration for the works that I'm working on with my lovely troupe. You might see them outside, the Flaming Heteros. Crotchet, you have been really, really helpful today, and with that, I want to just try and head out at that point.
Okay, you saw with that sleight of hand check, you just like managed to squirrel it away without him noticing. And you have acquired that item, which I shall make a note of and then add to your inventory later.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see what consequences there definitely aren't from that.
There will be no consequences to anything you guys do, I'm sure.
We've just discovered the real BBEG.
Yeah.
It's
Crotchet the
Crotchet.
Muppet.
No, this is actually a therapy campaign, and it's all dealing with Reginar's kleptomania.
Pyromania and kleptomania. Is the two things together.
And Boomslang's addiction to
Everything.
nicotine.
Yeah.
Everything.
Lavinia's shark problem. At some point, we'll
Dream's
deprogram Dream from her cults. We'll have to deprogram her.
No, it's not. Way more fun. Being in the cold.
Speaking of Dream, it's at this point that you happen to stumble upon Dream's personal request to visit in the mall. And this is the Cult Cafe. There are a lot of cults in Melded, and just sometimes they just need a nice little space to like get together, like provide things. Just having like some nice like food provided, little private rooms. And Dream is a bit of a recurring guest here. But I think it's probably the first time the rest of you have been along with them. And so as you enter, there is this huge demon sat behind the till. It's a Glabrizu, which are like these giant like wolf demons. They're like probably about 15 foot tall, and they've got like crab pincers and wolf faces and lots of claws. It's like, my name is Zagroth, Scourge of the Seventh Hell, Defiler of the Bridge of Tears, Slayer
Demon needs a glass of water.
Wielder of the Black Flame Blade Annihilator. Welcome to my cafe. How may I serve you today? Oh, Dream. It's nice to see you.
I'm sorry.
This is why Dream comes in here, just to laugh. Like to laugh at the demon.
Boomslang like sees that kind of hears that kind of poetic introduction and kind of wants to introduce himself. And so it says,
Yo, my name's Boomslang. Don't let me get you with my two fangs. You know I'm rolling with a new gang. With the interdimensional groove thing.
Boomslang.
Hey.
This one gets it.
How?
Yeah, I got up for a fist bump on one of their, I guess,
Is it-
many giant fists.
Giant crab claw, like the size of your torso, just like fist bumps you.
Yes. Zagroth, I need to have a room to speak to somebody. These guys, they're there with me, but they can have a drink or whatever. I don't know. Make themselves comfortable.
Would you like milkshakes? They're very good.
Oh, what flavors do you have?
All of them.
That seems like a lot of labour to be putting in to get like ready every milkshake.
I mean, I have like demon powers, so I can just kind of like summon it, kind of.
Have you got any milkshakes that will help me get closer to the edge of consciousness?
Oh dear, not again. Do you have anything shark flavored?
Like flavored like a shark, or like that a shark would like.
Like a shark.
I guess I've not tried before, but like demon powers, so
I'll have one
just
of those.
like this claw just opens up and there is this kind of like fishy smelling milkshake, I guess.
Cool.
And the straw has a little fin.
Yeah, of course. To bring you to the edge of consciousness,
I said closer to. Maybe not all the way to the edge, but like I want to be able to touch it.
it's like wolf eyes are just like, what? It's like,
I'll like 50%, not like 90%. That sometimes I have.
okay. This is from the river Styx, but it's got like a mixer in it, so it's not quite that like severe. So that should do the job.
So Styx, that makes you forget stuff, right?
If you have a bath in it, this is like it makes it like washes
like more of a
surface
body of
memories
light.
away to reveal the truth beneath.
That sounds like it would go really well with regret.
I guess.
And I take it and I pull out the vape. I don't hit it yet.
Can I have strawberry?
Yes.
Wait, is it oat milk?
This one isn't, but I can get you it if you like.
No, just fine. It's fine as is. Thank you.
Here you go. Okay, so while the rest of you are enjoying your milkshakes of regret and otherwise, so Dream is sort of escorted off to a side room. Like you're like a regular face here, so like Zagroth is quite happy to just sort of like set you up. It's like I've got you the usual setup. Do you need a drink either?
I'll have a drink of. Something that tastes like the stars.
I mean, I've got like one of those flaming shots that's kind of like a star.
That will do.
Here you
Oh.
go.
Also, I have a flaming cat with me. Can you get them something as well, please? Because I summoned an elemental last session and I forgot. I summoned it, so it's now stuck here.
That's fine. So, like, I'm assuming it's just sort of like loitering around, and just like a tiny flaming bowl of milk.
Perfect.
So, as sort of Zagroth leaves, you take a quick note of the. There's a sign on the wall. So Zagroth is really big on consent in demon summoning. So, like, cultists come to like summon stuff here all the time, but like you can't escape melded once you're here, even for like demons who are summoned here. So this is a strictly like communication only summoning area unless you have specific consent. Not respecting these rules, and you will be barred. That is hit with a bar, like the furniture. And you hear like some of the other like cults that have been around. They're all sort of very respected. Like they all like to hang out and have a chat at Zagreoth, compare the latest like sacrificial daggers and all that stuff. But you've got all like your normal like incenses and whatnot, sort of laid out for you, ready. What would you like to do?
I would like to communicate with my Fae that I've made a pact with, please.
Okay. So you sort of lay out all the sort of rituals and stuff, and the sort of room begins to fill with this like fragrant smoke, and then out of it steps your patron. He, or they, should I say, is sort of about 8 foot tall, and they almost seem to shift gender depending on like which angle you view them from. It's sort of always changing. Their skin is kind of like burnt wood, and their hair is like little twigs that are just like embers on the end of them. Welcome, Dream. Nice to see you once again.
Hey Ray, how's it going?
It is going well. And how is your time in this city?
I'm starting to get bored of it, and there is a way out. I think. I hope.
Intriguing. And can I assist you in this in some way?
Yes. I'm hoping you could tell me how it's damn possible to get out here just by killing someone. That doesn't make sense.
He sort of, or they sort of, their eyes sort of flash with flame for a second as they're contemplating. And you almost feel like a kind of whiff of your memories sort of passing into them. It's like, I see. Now this is peculiar. There's a sort of like, you're almost sort of like revisiting that moment, but just with him sort of like languishing alongside you. And then he appears up on the thing, standing next to the man who made this off, and just like, and sort of like looks at him up and down, and says, "Well, this is an odd one, isn't it? He does seem to have the power, but I do not quite know its source. It is not one I am familiar with, and I am familiar with a great many things. I think this being is they are very old, but also very new, which is not very helpful. I appreciate that is quite cryptic. I'm trying to work on that. I mean, what would you like to know about them?
Wow. So they're old but new. I guess. Do you know how they got here?
I think that one I can tell. It seems they are traveling through this cape that they have here. It appears to be a sort of portal to other realms that somehow bypasses the normal restrictions of Melded.
I knew I wanted that cape.
It is pretty fancy.
Yeah. Oh, also, I think Boomslang would like that. Either way, definitely good motive to kill him, other than to leave Mel dead. But to get the cape.
I mean, it is a sweet cape.
Yeah. Okay. So we need to find this guy the cape. Okay. Well, I tasted some magical kind of like powder that was left behind. I guess there's something to do with it as well.
Yes, I see this. I think he sort of like looks. I think I know whom to send you to. There, you will probably need someone to introduce you. I do not know them personally. Someone rich and old will probably do the job.
Siegfried.
There is a group that live in Melded called the Old World Society. They are survivors from the previous multiverse. And they're like crazy old, like much older than me even, and like they know all kinds of weird shit, so maybe they can help.
Okay. Well, that's something to go on. If not, can we just murder someone? That might help. I don't know.
I mean, like, it sometimes does, like I think it would have to be someone like, ooh, maybe you could do one of those things where you kill someone and like talk to their ghost or something. I can't remember if I let you do that. Is that a thing I could let you do?
Ooh, that would be no, but I would like to do that.
It's something Lavinia can probably do.
Oh, like yeah, maybe a
You
friend.
know, a cleric dream.
Cool. Well, so we got options.
Oh, Boomslang might be able to do that as well.
I mean,
I
like,
don't know what paladins do.
I'll put that on my to-do list. See if I'll fix you up with that.
Cool. Okay. Okay. Well. Cool. Well, thank you, Ray. Much help.
Before you
anything
leave,
you wanted? Oh yes.
2 things.
Hmm.
Firstly, had you had any luck in finding out my true name?
No.
Well, keep trying. That's how you get to the next level. And secondly, I've arranged with Zagroth to provide a gift for you.
Ooh.
And he you sort of back in the actual room, and he gestures at a little carved wooden box that is left in the corner of the table. Open it.
Oh, thanks, Ray. And I go over and open it.
Okay. So you open the box, and in it there is an old, clunky, like 90s mobile phone. This is a Nokia 666. Be a bit.
What is a Nokia?
I don't really know, to be honest, but the gist is, like, instead of having to come here do the ritual, you can like just call me up for like 5 minutes once a day. So if you need to like ask advice. I mean, it's not actually once a day. It's just like I turn it on mute after like a couple of calls, so you won't get through. Reception here is like terrible.
Fair enough. Cool. Thanks, Ray. You're the best.
You too. You're the best.
Ah, you're the best.
I assume that sort of like carries on for a few minutes.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
And then sort of in this sort of waft of like incense and smoke, they vanish.
Right? I got something to do. I should probably tell everybody else.
Meanwhile, milkshakes are happening, I guess.
So Boomslang is hitting the regret vape and then blowing it down the straw into the forgetfulness and perspective milkshake. And then as the bubbles kind of fill with this vape smoke of kind of this forgetfulness and perspective milkshake, he's kind of like snapping at them like and kind of inhaling the smoke that comes out. So it's the regret of the vape mixed with the forgetfulness and perspective of the milkshake, and actually he's probably processing some stuff that he should have.
Okay, make a wisdom save for me, please.
Lavinia's just watching this and just kind of preparing her lesser restoration spell. She's seen this happen before.
Well, Boomslang is not the wisest guy, as we've seen before, so this is a 9.
Okay.
It's a big 9.
You sure it's not a 6?
So, this was not an eventuality I'd specifically planned for, but so I would say that if you're simultaneously like losing your like immediate like consciousness and also being filled with regret, you are just like you're basically just like, as far as the rest of the group are concerned, just like go for a few minutes.
Yeah, I think
internally-
his long forked tongue is like hanging out one side of his mouth, completely limp, just like.
Oh, it's like one of those dogs that's missing a lot of teeth and their mouth just sticks out on one side, like one of those chihuahuas.
His jaw has kind of you know the end when they extend to swallow something really big. It's kind of done that, but kind of slack.
Reggie Narwhal's just sitting like flicking the tongue.
Zero response, just like.
Lavinia is keeping an eye on the time, and if this goes on longer than 5 minutes, she'll do a lesser restoration.
I would say, like, internally, you're probably just like, you can't remember anything specific on the conscious level, so you're literally just like, sort of like examining your own regrets, but without any context. It's just like, I regret so much. Why not cast it aside? And it's just like, I am free of regrets.
And then I guess after a couple of minutes of that, I kind of, oh man, they're back, their regrets are back.
Oh dear.
Dream's just will have been standing there just watching the entire time. It's like, how am I with this group? This is very strange. And yet
Lavinia's
it's very
drunk the
endearing.
entire shark. Lavinia's just drunk the entire shark shake.
Yeah.
That's her therapy.
Yeah.
Sharks
Your own
swimming all
sharks are
around.
just like backed away a little bit. I'm like, whoa, awkward. So, speaking of Boomslang's adventures into dubious substances, you next find the floor of the mall, which is very subtly titled the super illegal drugs market.
Did you say legal?
Illegal.
Oh, okay.
And I get the feeling that Boomslang has been here before numerous times and sampled many, many wares.
Yeah, Boomslang's interested in the edges of consciousness, in all directions. He's like like a wolf in a too small enclosure. It's kind of he's pacing the edges of consciousness.
Pushing the borders of common sense to Okay, so make a quick investigation check for me to see if you find anything that is a bit new.
I think we have a new tagline. Pushing the boundaries of common sense.
That's gonna be a 21.
Okay, so you go around, and mostly it's the same stalls with the same stock that you have seen a dozen times before, like psychotropic venom from a space squid. Yes, so yesterday.
All of these things none of them quite took him to the very, very edge where he's trying to get to.
Yeah. Then, just as you're sort of beginning to lose hope, you spot a stall that you haven't seen before. It's sort of quite a sort of old style apothecary that is sort of like built into this market stall. There's literally only room for like one person to sort of fit inside, and like literally everything is just like lined with jars and things that are in dubious pickles and whatnot. And you see a small human man sort of standing as like, You, sir, you look like you need what I got. Because I got everything.
Hello? Oh, that's new. Hello, sorry, still a bit hazy. Yeah. Well, I mean, what you got?
And Boomslang's going to kind of sidle into this very small shop.
Yeah.
But because he's all hips, so he just kind of like weaves in between all the clutter.
So yeah, this guy is dressed like a cowboy. Like got a big sort of like mustache.
Like your style, man.
Why, thank you. My name's Rex Tabasco, and I have the spice you need. What is it that you were looking for, young man?
Well, safe to say this ain't my first rodeo. So,
Of course, you look like an experienced fella.
yeah, and nothing is quite. I'm looking to get to a very specific place that it's also nowhere. Have you got something that can do that?
I think I might have just the thing. If you just take a seat here, I'll go and have a rummage out the back. I think I know what.
Boomslang's going to take a seat and just kind of look around at the stock on the shelves and look at things that he recognizes, things that he doesn't recognize. Just kind of take it in.
Okay, so Rex vanishes out the back, and suddenly you hear a clunk, and the floor drops out from underneath you. And you like.
I didn't mean literally.
You like plummet down this sort of like winding, like cartoon style, like chute that goes all over the place.
He Homer Simpsons down it like, ooh.
Yeah.
I'm picturing the slide from The Emperor's New Groove. Carry on.
Make me just a dexterity save just to see how well you get out of this.
I rolled low, but that's still going to be a 21.
Okay, so you like do a like 3-point superhero landing at the bottom of this, and you are in like what is essentially like a sort of metal cylinder, and suddenly you hear the sort of noise of like hydraulics around you, and the ceiling starts to come down.
Can I see anything around me? Like the walls are just totally like smooth.
There's a little like screen embedded that has just like come in to follow the hole you just fell down. It's like, I'm sorry, sir, but I am a snake oil salesman. And just like
Oh no!
Did Boomslang go off on his own? Did he ditch the rest of us? Or like are we just like waiting for him somewhere else?
Well, would any of you have come to the dodgy bit of the shopping center with me?
Lavinia's concerned about you, so probably.
I mean, I think everyone is, but like,
Okay.
the general thing.
Fair. But Reginar doesn't like Boomslang that much.
Okay.
Take him or leave him.
You said there was a screen,
Yeah.
like so I can see was it Max Tabasco's face?
Yeah, Rex Tabasco.
Rex Tabasco.
Yeah.
Can I, and let me know if this isn't possible, can I cast can he see me? Can I cast suggestion through the screen?
I will say you can try, because there does appear to be a camera there, but it will just be a slightly higher DC.
Okay. Well, it's a save for him.
Okay.
So maybe
So
yeah.
I'll say he has advantage on it because in that case.
Okay. So it's a Wisdom save, DC 16, and I'm gonna kind of grab each side of the screen and say,
What are you doing, man? You don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. I've got places to be.
Okay, so one of those was a natural one and the other was a 10. So he like, you're right, you do. And sort of like the lid starts to like, hold on. Was this suggestion? Sorry.
Yes, suggestion.
What's your specific suggestion? Just
Stop this and let me out.
Okay, so, well, I'll oblige that, sir. And like the lid begins to sort of lift up, and within a few minutes, there's like, well, probably like in about 30 seconds, there's enough space that you could probably wiggle out.
Okay, as I wiggle out, can I see him? Can I go through into the back where he went?
Yeah, so I mean, so this has sort of come out into his like back room where this vat is. And he's just there, sort of like robotically, like opening the thing.
I want to grab him and hold him up against the wall and be like, "What the hell? What the hell? You're crushing snakes for their oil?
I mean,
tell me,
it's like it's a growth market.
It's gonna be a real fast shrinking market if you don't stop."
Make an intimidation check, I guess.
Intimidation. Pretty good at that. I'm pretty good at it, but I rolled a 2, so that's an 8.
Okay. It's like, but I don't want to stop. It's like I'm getting quite rich, to be honest.
Wow, where are you getting all these snake oil from? Who, like, is it other Yuan-Ti? Are there more of me here?
I mean, just like most of them are just like regular snakes. I just like stick in the squisher.
You're a monster.
I mean, like, no, that's gonna sound super racist if I say it, but like, you're the one with like,
no. Say what's on your mind.
I mean,
I pull out one of my rapiers and I hold it like just under his chin. I say what's on your mind.
You are the like little snake man here.
What makes you think it's okay to crush people for their oil?
I mean, I accept it's socially frowned upon, but like it's like really in
Can
demand.
you give me any reason not to just like kill you?
I have a really good mustache.
If you can find me, if were you lying about that drug?
I mean, I've got lots of drugs. I don't know what.
I'm taking it all. I'm taking everything.
There's gonna be lots of snake oil in there, though.
Everything except the snake oil. That you pour away.
Okay. I'm making another intimidate check or a persuade check, I guess, whichever you feel this is.
I'm still intimidating, and I really hope I don't mess this one up. This is a 21.
Okay, it's like, okay, sir. I'll change my ways.
Okay, so I put him down and I get him to load up as much of a varied sample of his stock as I can carry in my bag,
okay.
And I force him to pour away all the snake oil that he has.
Okay.
And
so just add like a cart full of assorted drugs to it.
I'll do that at the end of the session. And I take a really, really, really deep huff on this Tears of Solomon vape.
Yeah.
And I hold his head next to the snake oil that he's poured on the ground, and I go.
He fails that hard.
And fill him full of regret whilst his face is.
What have I done? I regret the killing so much.
Then I walk out and go.
I'm terrible.
And I just leave him stewing in his regret. And I turn to my friends and go, "All right, next."
But did you know where the term snake oil comes from?
No.
So, it is, from the, 18th, 19th century United States, mostly, and it's thought that it came from, the fact that, Chinese railway laborers in mid-19th century would use oil from Chinese water snakes to help treat joint pain, and then people started just crushing up snakes, basically. But they weren't Chinese water snakes, so it didn't do any good.
And there's also some places where the people will pickle venomous snakes in strong alcohol, because they think that kind of some of the venom of the snake or some of the essence of the snake will get into the whiskey or whatever it is and give it kind of extra properties. It probably doesn't.
Reggie Narwhal was just thinking, can we take boomslang to a distillery? I can just shove it.
Just have a swim around in the...
It'll be like that tequila you get that's got a worm at the bottom, but it's a giant bottle, and there's just a 1T in the middle.
Yeah, it's just like...
And he's like, it's not working.
You've actually just your tolerance is just ridiculously high for I just can't even feel when I'm swimming in tequila anymore. What's the point?
Yeah, I got to put something else in this bar.
Absinthe. Always absinthe. You want to get to the edge of the consciousness? Anything with wormwood in it.
So,
So I've got my backpack full of assorted things.
yep, you have a sack of drugs. Is there anything else anyone wanted to do in the Mall of the Multiverse?
Are there any shops selling religious artifacts and such?
Yes.
Or antique shops, basically? Something like that.
So you find a shop called Saint Zaras. It appears to be
refuse to believe that that's not a real thing in the United States somewhere.
I mean, I don't think I dare look. You are met at the door by a booming voice that doesn't appear to have a body. I am Glod, proprietor of this establishment. What can I do for you today?
Hello, Claude. It's Lavinia. I was just wondering if you've had any artifacts come in that look like they might belong to my patron?
Well, as I am all-knowing, I can tell you that there's some loose screws that maybe could be from your patron. There's a recipe in a holy book.
Well, I'll have a look at those then. Thank you.
Okay. So the screws they're all like a little bag of screws. None of them match with each other.
Do any of them fit my holy symbol?
They do not.
That's a pity.
And the book, when you inspect it, appears to be basically a guide to making holy meatballs. There's sort of you must wash them in this sacred river to get rid of the impurities, and they must be gazed upon by 3 Swedish people for a week. To ensure,
I still have to find some of these mysterious Swedish people.
You've got a feeling you saw a Swede person the other day, a vegetable man, but that might be the same thing. You're not quite clear.
The teachings of IKEA are mysterious.
Ish.
Yeah.
I need a hybrid, Swede and a turnip or something.
Yeah. Are Swede hybrids anyway?
I have no idea.
This could be a science fact opportunity. I'm going to double check. Is a very
Live
scientific thing of
research.
asking Wikipedia. Do.
So
This-
apparently they are different things. A Swede is a Swedish turnip.
Ah.
Oh.
Oh, okay. It was originally a hybrid between cabbage and turnip, apparently.
Okay.
And also
How?
that makes sense is that they are the one that is known as rutabaga, which I always find a
That's a
like
great
strangely
name.
elaborate word for like a fairly forgettable vegetable.
Yes. But Swedes are technically Swedish. So Swede people are technically Swedish. So I have to find more of these Swede people.
To the vegetable district.
Too bad my hat creates fruit. We'll get
Yeah.
to that later.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know how yet.
Who knows?
Lavinia will yeah, I'll purchase the recipe and the screws. Always better to have too many screws than too few, don't you think?
Yes. Thus says Glod. And that will cost you, let's say, 30 gold for the recipe and the screws.
That's a fair price. And then I will go and rejoin my brethren.
Farewell, says Glod.
Farewell, Glod. See you next time.
Okay. Any more requests for the mall?
I think Boomslang's keen to kind of, get going with tasks and maybe try some of what's in the bag later.
Okay. I mean, if there is no other immediate shopping concerns, I think this is probably a good time for our break.
All right. We'll take 5 minutes and we'll be back here. I don't know what time it is. At 8:07. See you in a bit.
Bye. welcome back, everyone. So, having done their little shopping adventure, and in one case nearly got squished, and also pickled separately, the Flaming Heteros bring on their next session, and they're collected by Golem Ramsey in the frog carriage and taken to the second part of their errands for the day. So, the carriage pulls up outside Melded Grand Library. It is a vast monumental edifice that looks kind of like a Gothic cathedral got extruded through a fractal generator. It's a lot. Even the local gargoyles tend to avoid going on it just because they sometimes get vertigo with some of the weird physics going on around it. But yet, several of the things, information you were all looking for is said to be fun. Lavinia is hoping to find some relics of her faith. Reginar was hoping to look through the phone directory to find alternate versions of himself. And in general, you were hoping to find out who the fuck this weirdo who wants you to kill him is. The answers to these questions and more may hopefully lie within, but we shall see from there. So, what is the plan of action?
So has Dream shared what they learned from their patron with the party?
Yeah, to say I'd have, yeah. Just in passing. It's like, oh, by the way.
Wait, so is that cloak our ticket out?
I think so.
Does it work on multiple people?
I don't know.
I have a way we might be able to find out more, for which we don't necessarily need the library, but I would need about 350 gold.
We've got that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. We're at the library. I'm sure we can. These materials, I'm sure they'll have them, given the nature of the spell. If we could find a quiet area to settle down. Does it sound like either this person or this cloak might be somewhat legendary?
I mean, depending on the definition, but it would seem to fit the bill.
In the official D&D, the handbook definition.
Yeah.
As per the spell legend lore.
I see.
I can tell you the details of that spell, if you like.
Whilst you're trying to figure this out, I'd like to go and look in the directory for alternate versions of myself, if possible.
So, in which case, roll me an investigation check, because this is fundamentally a directory of everyone who has ever lived in Melded. So it is very long.
26.
26. Okay. So it looks like there have been a couple of different versions of you who have lived in the city over the years. Some of them sounded sort of like fairly spectacular archmages and heroes. So there's yourself aside. There are three other Reginar that turn up in the guide. So the first one is you find in the business section under edgy teen superheroes, and this is Regicide, who advertises himself as being just really good at brooding. Like he's just like award-winning, like scowling on gargoyles level.
And killing kings by his name, it sounds like.
See, it's not really clear from this advert that has been placed in here. Like that would seem implicit, but
We're all bullshitters, yeah. I'd need to find them to find out.
But are you all communists? Because if so, killing kings would make sense.
Yeah. Okay, that's so. There's regicide.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna note that down. Anyone else?
So the next one you find is Reggie Narwhal, who is Reggie from a narwhal dimension.
Reggie Narwhal.
He's exactly the same.
Exactly the same as a narwhal.
One giant tooth.
Yep. He's still got the beard and everything. Just like
Okay.
And the shoe. But
yeah,
you can't wear it.
somehow it's like a flipper stiletto somehow.
Or it's on the end of his horn.
Yeah.
There's just a shoe hanging on.
Sorry, but a flipper stiletto sounds like something you'd find on Wish.com. I want
When we start
one.
making merch, that's what we're on to.
Support us on Patreon, and we will make flipper stilettos and slipper stilettos. We'll make all the stilettos.
So there's regicide, Reggie Narwhal, and who's this last
Not
one?
quite exactly what you were looking for, but you also find Reginald Jr.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Who is a teenage girl who you apparently insisted on also calling Reginald.
Okay. That's unexpected.
But is it really though?
Do I have enough gold to cover this? Okay.
Those are the three who appear to be living in Melded as of this moment.
Well, she's living in Melbourne because Reginald forgot about her.
She slipped through the cracks in the system.
Oh no.
No. My foster child. Well, that was heartbreaking.
I mean, it's not necessarily you who's her dad.
It
might
could be
another
Reggie
you.
Narwhal.
The plot twist.
Teenage girl narwhal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun narwhal.
I'm gonna do something with that information.
Tusks.
That's as much as I'm gonna investigate for now, because that is enough information to deal with in one day.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Alright. In that case, I'm sure that means 10 minutes has passed, and Lavinia will have cast Legend Lore. I'll mark 300 gold of. But I'm gonna focus on describing the cloak rather than the person, because I feel like we know more about the cloak at the moment.
Okay.
And just any current tales, forgotten stories, secret lore, etc. that relate to this object are revealed to me.
Okay, so yeah, you have. I don't know where you got these ivory strips from that you needed to cast a spell, but let's say you did.
I assume that I just bought them at some point.
Or you just like stole them off the out the musician shop. You just stole a couple of ivory
Piano keys.
It's ethical.
Yeah.
Ivory strips, like
Yeah,
Re-
4
Reginald-
ivory strips.
Reginald's kind of head just pops up and goes, "The narwhal, the narwhals, is that? Do they produce ivory?"
Depending on, I guess it's two.
It is a
in both
tooth.
cases, so I think it is
Technically.
called narwhal ivory, but
Okay. His head bows back down again.
This-
Got a
This is
lovely
the one
spiral
to
to it.
anyway,
Head back down,
so,
definitely not crying.
You. So this cloak, you describe it, and it doesn't seem to have a specific name. When it's a cloak, it's in some ways also the complete absence of a cloak on a cosmic level. It is literally like a void in creation in the shape of a cloak. And that is kind of how it would allow anyone to access any part of the multiverse from anywhere. Like, it is like the potential to travel through this cloak would allow infinite travel even out of Melded, because it doesn't seem to obey the rules of the multiverse in itself. There is not really, in terms of legend lore, there's not really any description of something of a cloak like that. But there are sort of mythical figures in history that have wielded a similar power, albeit more usually in the form of weapons.
Okay. Could I then look up some of those individuals? Kind of look for stories of those individuals, and particularly any that have passed through Melded.
Okay.
And specifically, if I roll nice and high, whether it's possible to kind of get between worlds, between places.
Okay. I mean, in some ways, like, Melded is between places, but perhaps there is even between Melded, which is where you may be looking to get to. So roll me an investigation check, then, please.
Expertise, don't fail me now. 18. No, 16.
Okay, so I would say the inside of the library is exponentially bigger than the outside, so there's a lot to look for. So you do sort of get the attention of one of the attendants, and you see a sort of name badge on them. They're just a really plain-looking human, and their name is apparently Dewey Decimal.
Dewey, great name.
The guy who invented the Dewey Decimal System was a piece of shit, by the way.
I did.
His name was Dewey.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole episode of a well-known podcast about bad people about this person. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to
Not
check that
gonna
out
do free
later. I have some
advertising
theories because I know the kind of people who tend to turn up in that kind of profession in that kind of time period. So let's see how right I was later. So, with an 18, there's some sections of the library that are a bit more. You kind of need accompaniment there, otherwise you might get lost in the infinite L space. There's some weird ass texts down there. So you sort of are guided through the infinite void of. You pass like shelves and shelves and corridors that seem to be the same corridor that you see yourself at the end of looking at, but you're in like a novelty hat.
Boomslang has seen this kind of stuff before, but not because of not because it was actually there. He's used to kind of seeing weird stuff out of his peripheral vision.
Yeah. And that's just himself. You sort of pass a door that looks like it's bound by dozens of different magical defenses and physical locks and stuff at one point. I'll just ignore that. That's the restricted section, but not what we're looking for in there.
Ooh, my head cranes as we walk.
So the dream's like, wait.
Our next episode's a library heist.
I mean, if you want to library heist it, that is your prerogative as players. But then,
are we all on this? Are we all going down on this corridor just now? Are we all there?
I don't know. Are you?
Lavinia will have followed.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because Boomslang was acting on what Lavinia found out, so I assume they were released together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say I'm there as well. Then. Yeah.
So you find a section of the library you're eventually brought to by Dewey, and this is entitled the Deep Lore section. What you're looking for is probably in here somewhere.
Probably. I thought,
mean-
is there not some kind of system where we know exactly where things are in the library?
I mean, okay, I'm going to be real with you. I was that system. They ripped me into human form. It was very traumatic. Like, there were weird magics involved, and I'm honestly kind of want to die. But that.
I can help you with that if you like.
It's quite difficult to kill me. I've tried.
Oh.
I mean, not like that, but like just to undo the spell anyway.
I mean, figuratively, I can kill you if you like.
Killing a person
I'll
doesn't
help.
necessarily take down the whole system, you know?
Let's
You don't know.
find the books
Not,
first,
not with
and
that
then
attitude. We don't know until we try.
but essentially, like, this is a section on the deep history of Melded that's sort of like legends from like thousands of years ago. But they're more sort of like the first-hand accounts of the time, not just like the retroactive history section, which is sort of requires less perilous paths through the library to get to.
So we're in... So go ahead.
So I was just saying, so if you all want to roll an investigation check to see what you can locate.
18.
17.
11.
17.
Okay, so Lavinia, you find some like basic books that sort of like,
It's a lovely picture book.
I'm trying to stop the sharks from eating the books.
it's like stop it, sharks.
Yes, I know you're spirits, ghosts, sharks, but still, don't eat the books.
So you find some sort of vague references to sort of these ultra powerful beings that sort of, but they're not very interesting texts. They tend to be like talk about the politics of the time more than anything else. The other three of you keep on finding references to a single, or to what you suspect might be a single figure at different points in history going by different names, because the descriptions of them are very similar. There is some of them are just called the Lord. Some of them describe the Rift Walker. And the most detailed is written for some reason in a phonetic French accent, and describes Lord Demafrol.
Wait, how is that spelled in a French accent?
How is it spelled in a French accent? So D-E-M-E, so D-E as in like separately.
Yeah.
M-E-R-F-R-A-L-L.
M-E-R-F.
Demorfral.
Demerval.
So is that the person with the cloak? Is that the person we got to kill?
Possibly.
I mean, the description sounds fairly similar physically. Like they are, in each case, is described as like a slightly tatty-looking human. But those all mention more a staff that was imbued with this power. Whereas this appears to be more of a... That seems to match the description of the power of this cloak. But just this guy had a staff.
So maybe there's two things, or maybe it can take multiple forms, or what? Who knows about magic? Because I mean, I've traveled a few planes, but always kind of falling through, you know, never going.
Yes.
I have no idea about any of this, and remember, we have band practice to get to. Well, we can wrap this up then. Like,
Regina, I thought you wanted to get out of here.
But I've just found three of me. We'll figure
What,
out.
so you
if
want
that-
to stay?
We'll figure that out. I just want to do Battle of the Bands. Whatever comes after that.
I know that matters to all of us.
Does
But,
it?
like,
Does it? Like, it seems like we're all getting very sidetracked here.
such a, you know, and I pull out a small tattered photograph. I go, I got to get back to her.
Okay, all of you make wisdom save.
It's a 23.
It's a
Okay.
9.
21.
Okay. So Dream and Lavinia have experienced this before. And you just like the second you see the photo coming out, you like cover your eyes. So Regina is just like screaming, like just like continuously, like just like for like about 10 minutes.
So what Regina sees when he looks at this kind of tattered photograph pulled out of Boomslang's pocket is so Lavinia and Dream will know that this is a picture of Boomslang's girlfriend, and it's kind of the image shifts and kind of shimmers, and you have to work really hard and concentrate to even pick out any kind of form in it, and as soon as you feel like you fixed your mind on what it is, it morphs, but they're all equally unsettling. It's this kind of eldritch, mind-bending, there's a being depicted there, but you can't for the life of you work out actually what you're looking at.
I think there's an element that it's just like there's too much information in this small photograph for a mortal mind to contain. It just kind of like blasts through all your senses out.
So after about 10 minutes of screaming, I just like stop hyperventilating, kind of look at Lavinia and Dream and be like, nobody thought to fucking burn that photograph.
I put it in my pocket and I take out one of my swords. Like, you can fucking try.
Even when he's asleep, his tail seems to remain awake and tries to hit you if you come too close to it. It's
I
very
think
odd.
it's like a flashback at this point to like a few weeks ago where you did try and burn it, and it just wouldn't ignite. It's just, like the fire just like moved away from it to like, I'm not.
Lavinia just drops a flame strike on it at 6th level. It does nothing.
Yeah, there's just this kind of like weird warping bubble of space-time around it.
In the 10 minutes that Regina was screaming,
Yes.
Lavinia will have casted Detect Magic just to see if there's any magical books or items that are in and around this area.
Okay, so the short answer is everything is very, very magical because
Is there
it's the
anything that
magic of
stands out?
reading is what you have detected.
I hate this library.
But also, additionally, there is actually a lot of genuine magic. There are like you can. What's the range on detect magic? Is it?
It is 30 feet, and I also learned it's School of Magic. So I always forget what the magic schools are. Basically, anything that might be like clerical in nature.
Okay.
If that can
So
stand out to me.
in the particular like section you're in, like most of the books have like spells of like preservation on them just to keep them from disintegrating. This is more like a history book section, so there's not many that are sort of like magical artifacts as such. But you do also just see like the wall. You're just at the edge of the restricted sort of section that you pass on the way, and like the spell surrounding that is literally just like a wall of like basically like overexposed magic. Just like there's so much magic shielding that shit that it just looks like white light to the spell.
We have to get into that section. I don't know what's in there, but I'm sure it's useful in some way.
I do know a librarian. They might be able to help.
A librarian or a librarian? Because those are different things.
Could
A
be
Liberian
both.
librarian.
Could be both. Up to Alex.
I mean, I feel like they have to be now.
Yes.
Sorry, that is one of my favorite vines where the guy's got a shoe on his head and he says he's librarian.
Yeah.
I do know someone who might be able to help,
Alright. Something to keep in mind.
but I must speak to Gary first.
Who's Gary?
That's my demon friend.
Gary.
Fair. Is that short for anything, or
No, it's just Gary.
it's not a very demonic? I mean, I don't mean to like stereotype or anything, but normally demons have names like Garithrax or like Garagor or something.
No, just Gary.
It's Gary. Cool. Cool.
Oh, Reggie, have you stopped screaming? That can't be good for your voice, darling.
Physically, internally, like externally, yes. Internally, never.
Well, I don't understand what the fuss is about, but now,
Boomslang,
now
we've
do you
we've
understand?
warned you about just flashing that photograph around.
Sorry, this is why we're getting sidetracked from band practice. You know, this stuff like this is important. I mean, obviously, band practice is important. When's Battle of the Bands again?
Tomorrow.
What?
Well,
Tomorrow?
The first round is tomorrow, not the whole contest. It's like a knockout tournament for narrative reasons.
I need to get a calendar.
You have several on your walls.
We'll pass back through them all. We'll get you another one, and a pen.
Keep hanging them on the wall and then running through the wall.
I mean, they're great to aim at, you know, so you don't lose your balance on the way to the wall.
Shall we go practice?
Well,
Yeah.
was Lavinia hoping to have a look in the religious section as well while you were here?
If it's on the way out.
I mean, like you're in pretty much the deepest depths of.
Then just a quick glance at anything regarding
So,
cursed amulets and sharks.
well, I mean, when you sort of describe it, it's like, oh, you are looking for the IKEA section, aren't you?
Yes.
Would you like to see the catalogs?
Is it just like loads of arrows on the floor for us to find our way there?
I was hoping, if the catalogs could point me directly to the curses section of the IKEA section, the subsection.
Okay, so I think I know.
I realise it's a big warehouse area with lots of racks that go all the way to the ceiling and really heavy things that are like 4 meters off the ground, but...
So you head to the catalogs, and this is an entire like extra dimensional wing of the library that is just all the IKEA catalogs that exist anywhere in the multiverse. And they sort of go up to obscene numbers, but you're sort of Dewey sort of takes you past all that. It's like, I think what we need here is the Twilight catalog.
Yes.
And Dewey turns to the rest of you. Is like, for those of you not in the know, the Twilight catalog is where things from the other catalogs that shouldn't be are moved to. It contains the forbidden things, and just even as you say it, there it sort of brings up this catalog and sort of unchains it from the wall. Behold, the forbidden Twilight catalog of IKEA. And you are looking for something that fits this. And you begin to rummage through. Make me a quick investigation check.
Can I make it a religion check instead?
I'll allow that, yeah.
Natural 20. That is a 23.
Okay, so you skim.
We need air horns. I'll get one at some point.
So you know exactly where to look in this catalogue, and you skim through. You skim past the flat pack furniture section of the furniture that flat packs you, as past the forbidden meatballs.
Very
And
dangerous,
then-
those.
Just when you think that you found the page that it should be on is ripped out and gone. Someone has defiled the catalogues. Oh my god, this is bad. And Dewey is having a slight meltdown over in the corner. It's like, it's a library. You shouldn't do things like this to books in the library. They didn't do anything.
It is only
they
to
kind
be
of cursed, but
expected.
apart from that,
This is only to be expected.
I shall report this to the head librarian at once.
I think this page could have been taken before the Forbidden Catalogue ever ended up here in Melded.
But I don't understand. Like, who would commit such a crime against an innocent catalogue?
My cousin.
Who?
Your cousin is a catalogue murderer.
Cousin?
She's always been quite mad at the IKEA catalogues.
Is she here too?
Not that I know of. But possibly.
And
But maybe she took the page before the catalogue was forgotten.
why is she angry at IKEA?
She was never very good at the diagrams in the cleric's training. Following the diagram instructions, she always had too many spare parts left over. Put the legs on things backwards, you know. It's always mad at me that I did better than her.
That sounds like a her problem, really.
Do you want us to
It
kill her?
is. Well, she's not here, so we'd have to leave first.
Okay. But I'm happy to provide services to kill her if you like.
Thank you, Dream.
You jumped to that very quickly, Dream. It's quite unnerving.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's a natural reaction to things.
I mean, I appreciate the kind of how close our friendship has got so quickly that you're offering to kill people for us. I mean, obviously, we have killed people together, but that's out of necessity. I guess this kind of is.
I don't
Yeah.
see what the problem is.
The good news is that my cousin is very forgetful, so it's possible she ripped this page out and then forgot that she'd done so. So the lost page might be in Melded after all, but we'll shelf this for now on this beautiful shelf built in the name of IKEA. And we'll come back to the missing
All
page
hail
later.
Kallax, who supports many things in little squares.
This is a Billy, actually. It's
Oh,
a very
sorry.
holy object.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your help, Dewey. And I'm sure we'll be back here. Definitely not to break into the restricted section.
Or to murder you.
Or that.
But my cells are open if you wish to be released from your suffering.
We have broken curses before, you know. We own a vape shop now.
There's just like a lot of conflicting thoughts going through Julie's mind right now. Like trying to assemble these into some kind of cohesive whole, and it's just breaking this poor.
Just if you change your mind, come by the
Fine.
collectorium, left-hand side, give us a knock. Tell
Do you have
Golem
business
Ramsey.
cards?
I
we have
I
business
left mine at
cards?
home. I'm sure the others do though.
No. Why
I
would I do
missed
that?
that question. What was the question?
Do we have business cards, Reginar?
Oh, of course. Of course we do. Of course we do. Midnight printing I've been off doing. And yeah, handing them out. It's just a picture of my face and the legend of the flaming just the flaming heteros. And just Reggie Narwhal suit foot incorporated.
I'm just picturing it being it's just like you reclining on one of Siegfried's fur rugs, just like
It's
Leopard
a
print.
Yeti skin leopard print rug.
Or it actually just is a live Yeti. That
Boomslang, do you have anything in that bag that might be good for Dewey, just to take the edge off?
Oh, let me have a look. And I rummage through and I go, oh no, oh no. So how experienced would you say you are?
In what?
All right, that tells me all I need to know. And I'm gonna pull out this kind of like kind of spongy mold. It's kind of like a dark red, and I rip off a bit. And I go open wide. Oh yeah, forget you people can't do it that wide. And then I pop it inside his chin, it's inside his cheek, and I close his chin and I go, just suck on that for a bit. You know, for the next couple of hours, you won't mind so much.
You just see his eyes just gradually going.
There we go. First one's free, mate.
Boomslang, if you become a drug dealer,
Become.
but usually he just does them himself.
Yeah, ideal.
I'm just saying, we can't keep breaking you out of prison.
Yeah, right. I was just doing a friend a favor, and I
No,
kind of,
that's fine. But usually you just run into the prison, then we have to get you out. But if they actually
I'm
lock
sorry.
you up, it'll be harder to remove you.
Yeah, well, if you can find a better way to get me out of here, then I'm willing to see it.
Well, first we get to band practice, and then we go and kill someone.
All right, deal.
Sounds great.
Before we go, I lean over to Dewey, and with the two forks of my tongue, I kind of push his eyeballs back to the middle of it. And then
They stay there for a second, and then one just drifts off again.
by that time, I've already turned around.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
As we're walking away, I just turn to Boomslang and go, do you know what you gave him there?
Yeah, it's kind of just like, well, it looks like, I think so. It looks like something I had before, and yeah, just kind of, it doesn't get you to the edge of reality. It just makes this one a bit blurrier. So I don't really have any use for it, but I didn't want to give him the whole thing, just in case I need to take the edge off something else,
As
I've already found this regret vape, so.
As you're walking away, you just hear like a sort of drip of just little bits of dribble coming out one side of his mouth.
At the very least, Dewey did say he's hard to kill, so probably won't kill him. And if it does, he'll be free. And
See,
no one will
community
ever be
service.
able to navigate the library again.
I mean,
Well, at
it's
least-
a nice
at least we-
place to get lost in.
Sorry.
So there's a nice place to get lost in.
Yeah, and at least we can follow these arrows back to the entrance.
Yes, that takes a lot of skill to be able to read those arrows.
Oh, is it a holy thing?
Yes. Come, I'll guide the way.
Make a survival check with advantage.
19.
Okay, so you have mastered the deep lore of the IKEA arrows. You studied for this day, and you like, I know their secrets and their winding ways. And like sometimes you just do the exact opposite of what they say, and it somehow works out.
You suddenly cut through a little area that's like a kitchenette,
Yeah.
and you go through, like, you move a bookcase, and there's just a gap where a door should have been.
There's just a load of lamps at one point.
You always come out with more things than you needed.
Yeah, you get to the exit of the section, you're all like holding boxes. You're just like, I don't remember picking these up.
Boomslang has popped a little bit of that mold into his cheek as well, but he's walking along with his eyes shut, but he's using kind of his snake-like ability to kind of sense vibrations in the ground, and using his forked tongue to taste the air, and he can just follow the sharky smell of the beer. 'Cause from that shake earlier,
Yeah.
and like between the two tips of his tongue, that's the strength of signal between the two of them tells him which way to go. So he's kind of
Well,
Reginald keeps getting lost. Tiny legs, really, really hard to keep up.
One of the sharks goes back and gets Reginar every time he gets lost. Shoves him forward.
Fucking hate these sharks.
We all do.
So, you eventually, after many winding ways that seem to simultaneously take no time at all and also forever, arrive back in the sort of mundane entryway to the library. Any last requests for things here before you head back to band practice?
Next time we come out, I want to go visit Jefferson. Like, I don't think we've got time to do it today. If you don't know who Jefferson is the manatee.
Oh,
You were
yes.
all busy fighting, but I want to visit the
yes.
manatee.
Yes.
I was too busy yeeting a possum.
Good times.
I was fighting a scab.
See, we're the good guys.
We stopped as real life snake oil salesmen. We killed the turf.
Yeah.
Acid
Elemental.
turf.
That's great.
Right, so let's get ready.
So, let's see. I think this is probably a good place to call it for today, as you head back to band practice. And tomorrow you will have the first round of the Battle of the Bands.
So on the way back to band practice, Boomslang is kind of picking out, occasionally little bits from the bag, just to try and get to the right kind of mental space that he can do band practice. But
Okay.
he keeps kind of overshooting in a different direction and trying to top up with a different thing to try and course correct. And he's never quite getting. But by the time they get home, he's probably near enough where he needs to be.
I say let's just, for fun, roll me a D100 and
It's always fun when the DM says roll a D100. Nothing bad ever happens like that.
I know it's
72.
72. So I think you managed to get onto that fairly. But it doesn't take you that long to get onto the right blend. You do, however, I would say with the 72, it's not going to be anything too severe. Your scales do start kind of strobe lighting a bit.
But Boomslang thinks that only he can see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just like walking along, looking at his hands, just like, like he's not wearing anything under his motorbike jacket, so he's kind of like looking down at his chest, like,
Golem Ramsey at this point pulls the little shutter, the blind down between where he's driving the carriage from.
And I
As
imagine this carriage is really jolty in its movement. It's being pulled by two frogs, so it's
It's just been doing half-mile hops at each time as how it travels.
As we're traveling back, Reginar is getting increasingly anxious about what's to come, and nothing to do with killing this cloaked staff wearing idiot. About Battle of the Bands, and I've been working really hard on something. I think it is my Mozart 1000 1 billion symphony.
Oh,
It came to me after the zoo. You know how much I love the zoo.
yeah.
And can I play it for you?
Have you got it?
If you promise not to try to lock Boomslang and Dream into the zoo again.
Yeah, that wasn't cool.
No, it won't happen again.
Yeah, I mean that. We've come on leaps and bounds since then, but
That's
yeah.
true. That was our first meeting.
Yeah, I don't want to kill
We'd
you.
love to hear your piece, Reginald.
I
Okay.
think Boomslang.
As in real life, I get ready to fire Sam once again.
So at this point, Reginar, I'm going to take out the liar. I'm in this carriage, and I say, "Are you ready for this?"
Boomslang pulls down the blinds on the carriage windows so it's dark, and his like sparkling scales are just like, click, 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 click. And it's like, yeah.
So, this is it. Brace yourselves.
Yeah, it's the hippo song. It's about the hippopotamus, the most dangerous land animal in the world. Hippopotamus, hippopotamus, hippopotamus. Ow! I'm a hippopotamus. I like swimming, but I'm dangerous. If you get too close to me, I might just bite your feet. Oh, hippopotamus, hippopotamus, hippopotamus. I'm a hippopotamus. I'm a hippopotamus. I'm fat and dangerous. If you don't understand, I might just bite your head. Hippopotamus. I like this shit.
That was amazing.
Yeah? Everyone, yeah?
Yeah.
Very, very well done, Reginald.
Any...
Golem Ramsey
So much
claps as
emotion.
well, and then the frogs start flying off in reasons, and he has to sort of rein them in again.
There's so much
Any-
emotion.
Yeah.
Hippos get me going.
Huh.
Have you should sing that to the hippopotamus.
Yeah, I think I should. I get some good feedback, right?
Are we gonna do that? Are we doing that song for the battle?
I mean, I think it's got real good potential.
It's got legs.
I think it's got
Well,
just the right beats to make the sharks dance in time. I think this could work.
We're geniuses. Geniuses.
It's good. I don't know how I'm going to help with
Dream?
it. 'Cause it all sounds like
You-
you did it.
You were going to play the
Well,
spoon or the spoon.
yes, you play the spoons for the rhythm. Boomslang, I'm sure, will have a rap that goes in there somewhere. I'll do the Latin dancing, and the sharks will accompany me in that.
Okay.
And what do I do? Like, no one's...
But you do everything else, the rest of the song.
Oh, okay.
Like what you just did.
Okay, just a repeat of that. Okay.
Oh, it was brilliant.
think
Or
we've got a good
more.
chance.
Or like a remix.
That's where you come in, Boomslang. I think it's time for Boomslang to lie down. I think we should take the vape away from him.
No, it's quite amusing actually. I think I should leave it to him.
Boomslang is like curled up, coiled up just like a snake, but like around his backpack.
I'm really sad I didn't take sleep as a spell today.
So, are we almost back? Are we almost back?
Oh,
Shutters are down. Don't know where we are.
whose trousers are on fire? Just so you know, I'm not wearing
that's a good
trousers.
question. Okay, you make a
I wear
perception
like
check
a dress
just in case.
robe thing, so
Perception.
Oh.
17.
7.
So is that 17 from someone?
Yep.
I got a 7.
Okay.
I was too distracted by the beauty of the song.
So after Reginald sort of like finished his, he just like happens to glance out the window and you just see a Minotaur running down the street with his pants on fire.
Point of order. If it ever happens to Boomslang, Boomslang's wearing like motorbike trousers but no underpants. So does this magical item affect like the American word pants or the British word pants?
I think the British word because we're right.
Yeah, good clarification.
For me, pants is trousers, but I did live in the US, so I don't agree
you're
with them
wrong,
necessarily.
Alexander.
Oh, I don't necessarily agree with them. English is not my first language. I have only been speaking it for 16 years.
So we arrived back home, right? And
Yeah.
we're like, I guess, at least Boomslang is kind of humming to himself, just like.
It's catchy.
I'm just kind of like imagining your sort of rap interlude being like that Flight of the Conchords bit about...
Hippopotamus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make sure he stays legally distinct from that.
Yeah. This is the Bebopopotamus. Highly legally distinct song.
Is it? It could just be a song about a rap about movements.
No.
That
We talked about this before the show.
Yes, but you keep bringing up what kind of trousers Boomslang is wearing, and it's making me think about snake penises, and I don't like it. Because it's come up too often.
It's actually a hemipene.
How many people can I fire in one night?
So how are we ending? We're back at the collectorium.
I kind of imagine this sort of coming to a close where you all do like a dramatic walk into your band practice room and then it kind of fades to black.
To the credits of Hippo.
I'm sure I'm pretty sure I have an ability that could make the light fade suddenly, so.
Yeah. That they cast the spell like dramatic lighting.
I have pyrotechnics.
I've got thaumaturgy, so between the two of us, I'm sure we can figure something out.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Flaming Heteros stage show is intense.
Oh yeah, no, I have an ability, Twilight Sanctuary. I create a sphere of twilight. I don't know how this affects the sharks. That could be an issue.
Point of order, going back on the subject. When you looked at the Twilight catalogue, it did specifically say in small letters, "No, not the vampire book."
It doesn't glitter in the sun.
No.
So next episode, band practice.
Mm-hmm. And the Battle of the Bands itself.
Oh, can't wait.
So, I love how our priorities are as a party. It's like a chance to escape and fulfill our life's or some of our life ambitions, but also we've got to make sure we win this Battle of the Bands.
I mean,
it could be someone else has already killed that guy, and we just wouldn't know about it.
Breaking news. Reginald Generic Man has killed.
Everyone in the city is out looking for this person.
Yeah.
And we're here like, no. We're going to be the only people who turn up at Battle of the Bands. Everyone else is going to be like,
default.
Obviously we're out killing.
But what no one expects is the guy we're trying to kill is also at Battle of the Bands because he thought no one was going to be there.
It could happen.
Big brains.
Find
Lavinia
out.
has an intelligence of 8.
You'll have to find out if that is what happens.
Yes. Tune in next time. Won't be in 2 weeks' time. We'll let you know what we're doing in 2 weeks' time, but one of us will be, 2 of us might be missing. So we'll probably be back in 3 weeks, but we'll let you know. Keep an eye on Twitch and Twitter, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Everyone.